Today's how to build is on the Puppet and Phantom Puppet from Five Nights at Freddy's. If you like this video, don't miss all my other Five Nights at Freddy's how to build videos. This is a longer video. I'm going to start with some updates. If you want to skip ahead to the building instructions, use the table of contents links in the video description. I received over 570 comments requesting to build the Puppet, the Phantom Puppet, or sometimes they called it the Puppet Master or the Marionette, but all asking for this one character. As usual, I built the Puppet at 3 different sizes: Minifig, Doublefig, and action figure scale. I already have hundreds of comments requesting the remaining Five Nights at Freddy's animatronics, so rest assured I will get to them eventually. The next one I do will probably be Balloon Boy or the Mangle. They're the most interesting of the remaining ones to me. It'll be a couple months before the next build is done because I've got a busy life right now. I'm just starting a new job, I just got married, and I've got a secret animation project I'm working on. Thanks as always for your patience and for tuning in to Brick 101. All right, let's get down to building. Let's start off by looking at the minifigure scale puppet. Let's start by talking about the torso. The puppet has a black torso with 3 white buttons. I couldn't find an official Lego torso that really matched that, but here are some options that I came up with. So you could always use a plain black torso and either paint some buttons on or just leave it plain black. This torso I thought was interesting. This is actually the back of the gorilla suit torso from the collectible minifigure series. The zipper I thought was a nice stand-in for the buttons. I thought these suits did a good job of matching the overall look and feel of the puppet's torso, even if they're not exactly the same with 3 white buttons on a plain black torso. The best arms, far and away, are the arms from the Mime from the collectible minifigure series. They're printed with black and white stripes on them, which is perfect for the puppet. The Trick-or-Treater from the new Monster collectible minifigure series has these black arms with white bones on them. It's not the exact pattern, but it does have that black and white feel. This collectible Rockstar minifigure has these arms with kind of silver dots on them. Again, not perfect, but it has a little more going on than just a plain black arm, which is kind of boring.
Hey, since we already got our arms off, maybe we should, play foosball or something.
Here's some options you can use for the head. The most noticeable features about the puppet's face are its big, creepy grin, the fact that it doesn't have the nose, and that it has just a little bit of red around the lips and such. So I thought that the Joker's face was a really great head for representing the puppet at minifigure scale. It's got a big, creepy grin. He's got a little red around his smile. And that's good. This Mime face is pretty good as well. If you've got the Mime. The short clown from the collectible minifigure series, pretty decent. Vampire heads can also work pretty well, or some skeleton heads. When attaching the head to the torso, don't push it all the way down. Just put it a little bit on top of the column. The puppet has a really elongated neck, so this is a nice way to replicate that at the minifigure scale. There are 2 different ways you can build the legs. The first way requires one of these black 1x1 round plates with a hole in it. Those are still relatively rare. I've been buying them in bulk and hoarding them because they're so useful, but I know not all of you will have them. But if you do, let me show you how to build this one. So you're going to put that on a black jumper plate and then put a 1x2 plate on top of that. Then you're going to take a bunch of black and white 1x1 round plates and build up some creepy black and white stocking leg things. So like that. Put that on there. And then this can connect to the bottom of the torso. Another way you could build legs is you could just take some black short legs and again some of these white and black alternating round plates. Just attach those there. So the puppet ends up being taller than a normal minifigure, but it should be because it is a very tall character. So I think these minifigures turned out pretty good. Now let's move on to the Phantom Puppet. The Phantom Puppet is basically just an all-black version of the regular puppet. So for the torso, plain black torso, black arms, black hands. I like this black skeleton head for the head. I don't know what this is from, this minifigure head. Just found it in my collection. It's pretty creepy, so that might also be a good fit. A plain black head would work as well. We're going to use the same technique for the legs as we did for the normal puppet. Black 1x1 round plate with a hole in it on a jumper plate, topped with a 1x2 plate. Here we're going to, since we don't need to alternate white and black, make this a little easier to do with some cylinder bricks on some 1x1 round plates, topped off with round plates. And then put these on the bottom. And if you don't have that piece, you could use some short legs here. And of course, you can build as many puppets and phantom puppets as you want to have a whole army of creepy puppet men. Yay! Now let's move on to the Doublefig scale. For the Doublefig version of the puppet, you can basically use any of the torsos we discussed for the Minifig scale puppet. However, there is one important thing to note about the torso that you choose. Look at the bottom of the torso. There are two different styles of torsos. So you can see that there's little things sticking out, but they don't go all the way in. Like here, it kind of forms an X. So based on which style of torso you have, you'll have to do different styles of arms and the waist. So just keep that in mind. I'll show you both varieties. One thing I did for the torso at this scale, used a plain black torso, then took a black neck bracket. Then I took a 1x2 plate in black and just painted the tops of the studs white. It's only 2 buttons, but that's about all it can fit at this size. Alright, so if you have an old style torso like this, one of the benefits of this style of torso is that you can shove things through the arm socket all the way through to the other side. So anything that's the width of a lightsaber blade or other bar piece. This is one of my favorite Lego pieces for custom things. It's flex tubing. Comes in many different lengths and colors. I'm using a black piece that's 10 studs long. We're going to push it through the torso. You can start bending it down into the position you want the arms to go. Then to get the stripes on the arms, I'm going to use a bunch of these white 1x1 plates with holes in it that are round. So I'm going to put 2 on each sleeve. Then for the hands, this bar to clip connector is a great piece for getting across the creepy hands, and it works really well with the flex tubing. Once you put those on place, you can move the stripes down a little bit. For the waist on this version, just take 2 black 1x1 plates, round plates if you prefer. Could be square if you like though. You can stick that in the middle of the bottom of the torso. It's not the easiest connection, but it does work. This is again something you can only do on old style torsos. Put something directly in the middle of the torso like that. So one interesting trick is that on these new style torsos, if you take one of these control stick antenna pieces, you can stick it through the armhole, down. If you keep pushing it, it'll kind of click into place. So you can hear that little snap there. So if you watched my Mega Man video, I used this technique in that a bunch of times. What I'm going to do now, which I had never done before this build, is take a third antenna and center it by kind of displacing those one of those antennae from the center, like that. So that's a way that you can actually have something centered in the middle. This is a pretty tight connection considering how unorthodox it is. If you do this, you might end up bending some of your control sticks. So just beware that this piece does put undue stress on Lego pieces. For the arm, take a cylinder brick in black, Technic half pin, then build out some white and black round plates alternating. Stick that on the half pin. Then a 1x1 plate with clip on the top for the hand. Build 2 of those. And then you can attach the arms to those control rods. And they can twist up and down. So there's 2 different options for how to build the legs here. The one on the left I think looks better, but it uses some rare pieces that you might not have. So the one on the right is a more straightforward option that might be easier for some of you to build. So some of the rare pieces that this leg technique uses are this 3-long rod that looks like a magician's wand. I happen to have 2 of those that I could spare, but I know a lot of you might not. And then it uses these 1x1 plates with hole through them, 2 in white and 4 in black. If you don't have the magician's wand, you could also just use a regular 3-long rod. So first thing is to take one of the white 1x1 circle with hole in it and push it onto the wand. This can be tricky to get it into place. Sometimes these rods and the holes that they go into can have some trouble. It's pretty easy right now, but that can be a tricky thing to do. And then on the tops and bottoms of the wands, you're going to stick them into the black 1x1 rounds. On this part, you want to cover up pretty much all the white on that side. On the bottom, you want it to stand out a little bit, so that's the bottom white stripe. And then put that all under a jumper plate. The other leg technique is much more straightforward. Just a black cylinder brick and a bunch of white and black round plates again. Make 2 of those and connect them with a jumper plate. You've got some legs. Each of these leg techniques is technically compatible with each of these torso techniques, but this pairing looks best together since they use similar techniques for the stripes in both cases. Now let's move on to the head. The base is going to be a 2x2 round plate in white. Take a black 1x2 plate on top of that. Take some white Erling bricks or headlight bricks on the back. Then for the cheeks, red 1x1 round plates on each side. A white 1x2 plate in the front. For the eyes, some black 1x1 round plates. Top it off with another 2x2 round plate in white and a 1x1 plate centered in the middle of that, which is a little tricky to get, but not too tricky. One of the nice things about the head is that you can't push it on very far. It only goes a little bit on, so you're naturally going to have a little neck showing, which is good because again the puppet has a long creepy neck. So that's what we want. We don't want the arm to fall off, but sometimes that happens. So there you have it, 2 different ways to make a Doublefig scale puppet. Here's the puppet hanging out with some of the other Five Nights at Freddy's animatronics. Hey everybody, I'm the puppet. You know, I don't think the puppet really talks. More of a creepy silent type. Now let's look at the Doublefig Phantom Puppet. For the torso and arms of the Phantom Puppet, again, whether you have a new style or old style black torso will determine whether you can use flex tubing for the arms or whether you need to use those antenna pieces. I'm going to show it with flex tubing. We're going to stick 2 1x1 black rounds in the middle bottom of the torso, 10 long piece of flex tubing. I've got one of these clip to bar connectors for one of the hands. However, I ran out of them. So for the other hand, I'm going to use one of these 1x1 black plates with hole in it and a 1x1 plate with clip on the top. I'm not going to bother putting anything along the sleeves since the stripes would all be black and black on black doesn't really matter. Ditto with the buttons. You could add a neck bracket and a 1x2 black plate, but it doesn't make a whole lot of a difference. It just makes him go forward a little bit. and fall over. For the legs, again, there's two options based on what parts you have. You could use some 3 long black bar pieces. Stick those into black 1x1 plates with holes. Do 2 of those and connect them to a jumper plate. Voila. Or you could just take some cylinder bricks and round plates, like so. For the head, start with a base of a 2x2 black round plate. 1x2 plate on top of that, and another one on top of that. Then some Erling bricks in the back. Do a lime round plate on that side and a black one on this side. Then black ones for the eyes. Then 2 black round plates on this side and 2 lime ones on that side. And a lime one in the center on the top to top it off. This is a tricky thing because not only is putting a stud in the center tricky, but when they're 4 separate studs, it's a little harder and a looser connection. So I thought that was a good way of representing the sort of the green stuff that's on the top of the Phantom Puppet's head, at least in the screenshots I've seen. You could make it all black if you prefer that, but this adds a little visual interest. Then you can attach the head and make sure it doesn't fall over. So now you've got a creepy Doublefig Phantom Puppet to roam some halls. Now let's look at the action figure scale puppet. Let's start by building the torso. Start with a brick with studs on 2 sides. I'm going to build a 1x2 plate on top of that. Then we'll take a round plate. Could be a square plate if you want. Just, I was running out of square plates. Another 1x1 brick with studs on 2 sides. Now we're going to connect the sides with some 1x3 plates. On the front we're going to do some buttons. So we'll do a white round, down, and up, then a black. And we'll top it off with a 1x1 white round tile. The very top, do 2 black rounds for the neck. Going down, take a Travis brick with studs on all 4 sides. It's 2 1x1 plates going that way, so the bottom is actually the back now. 1x1 tile there, 1x1 tile there, 1x2 tile, and a 1x2 plate going down, and connect all of that there. For the legs and the arms, we're going to use one of my favorite advanced techniques. So we have a control stick that we've taken apart here, and we've got 2 bases and 1 antenna. We're going to put the antenna into one of those bases backwards, so that now it goes all the way through. And then the base is resting upside down on the antenna. We're going to attach another base the normal way. We're going to push that first base back down. Now this is a pretty sturdy joint, so long as it's connected the right way. Going to hide all of that stuff inside a cylinder brick. Then we're going to take a bunch of black and white round plates and make the stocking legs. You're going to create 2 of those for the legs. Attach them onto that 1x2 plate on the bottom of the torso. Now, they do have a tendency to fall apart like that, but the best way to fix that is to take this base down here Just orient the stick in the middle of that as much as possible, and then push it close to the other joint again. For the arm, create another one of those antenna joints like we did for the legs. Hide it in a cylinder brick again, but this time put a Technic half pin to reverse the order. Then for the arm, we're again going to use black and white alternating circle plates. This time, I'm going to have a white 1x1 round with hole on the very end of that. Then we're going to stick a T-connector into that hole and attach some of these robot pinchy arms to be fingers. Now make 2 of those and attach them to the torso at the top of the 1x3 plate on each side. Now let's move on to the head. 1x2 plate in white, a 1x1 brick with stud on one side, 1x1 Erling brick, then a black 1x1 brick with studs on 2 sides, some black cheese slopes tilted up to make the creepy smile. Then we're going to take a black neck bracket on the front of that smile, stick a 1x2 tile in white to the bottom of the head there. For the top of the head, start with this white 1x1 plate with circle clips. This is the most important part of the head right here. Then a 1x1 white plate. Top of that, we're going to do 1x3. Then a 2x3. Now we're going to flip it over and build upside down. Some black 1x1 circle plates. And some white square plates. Flip it over again. Put the white 1x1 plate in the back there. Then we'll do some square tiles. Some circle tiles. And a 1x1 plate right in the middle. On the very top, 2x2 offset plate and 2x2 radar dish in white. Put those diagonally on that. Now let's build the left side of his face. 1x1 plate, 1x2 plate, purple 1x1 round, do a white 1x1 round tile on top of that. You can connect this to a corner plate, and we'll have a 1x2 dangling down that way. Connect them with a 1x2 going this way, like that. Then a 1x1 there. This could be a corner plate if you've got plenty of those. Red 1x1 for the cheek, a white 1x1 tile. The other side is going to be a mirror image, so start with a 1x2 plate, then put a corner plate and a purple 1x1 round on top of it. Top the purple with a 1x1 tile in white. Do a 1x2 plate going down. Connect a 1x2 plate below that. Red circle for the cheek. 1x1 plate, 1x1 tile. So now let's take the 4 pieces of the head and assemble them into the head. So let's start with the top. So as I said, this piece here is the most important piece of the whole head. Connects everything together. So start by taking one of the side pieces and connecting the circle clip into that 1x2 plate sticking out there. So that purple thing lines up under the eye. Then take the bottom and the other side and they connect together. Then Just merge the whole two halves together, and you get the puppet head. Very creepy. I thought it was pretty accurate to the game with the purple lines under the eyes, above the creepy smile, red cheeks. The back looks a little wonky, but that's okay. You're now ready to attach the head to the body. One trick that I find to help the puppet stand up is I take some clear 1x2 plates, stick them on the bottom of his feet. That just gives him a little ability to lean back a little bit. We're going to take the head, attach the top of the neck into that front part of the 1x2 plate, so right in the center of the head there. And now you've got the puppet, ready to float down some halls and jump scare people. And here's what the puppet looks like next to all my other Five Nights at Freddy's animatronics. Last but not least, let's build the action figure scale Phantom Puppet. The torso for the Phantom Puppet will be almost identical to that of the regular puppet. So just the same we built the other one, but I changed the white buttons to dark gray buttons. You could also make them black, but I just added dark gray so there's something going on visually on the puppet and it's not just pure black. For the legs, we'll again want to make an antenna hinge and hide it inside a cylinder, and then just use 3 more cylinders and 2 circle plates, however you wish, to build the rest of the leg out. Not much to it. Build 2 of those and connect them to the torso. For the arm, do another one of these antenna hinges, hide it in a cylinder, put a Technic half pin in, 2 more cylinders, and then a T-connector with 3 pinchy robot arms. Build 2 arms like that. Stick them on the 1x3 plates on each side of the torso. Let's start with the top of the head. Take this black plate with circle clips, 1x1 plate, 1x3 plate. Then let's build off a 1x2 and a 1x2 in lime green. Then underneath we're going to do a white circle, a black square. On the other side, I'm going to take a lime 1x2, white circle, black square. Just hold that floating in space for a second. Connect it with a 1x2 tile in lime. Then fill this out with a black 1x1. The color of the 1x1 plate there doesn't matter, so I use dark gray. Let's put black 1x1 plate back there. Lime tile, black tile. On the very top, I'm using a 2x2 offset plate. You could use that in lime if you have it, but that's pretty rare. These green ones from Minecraft are much more prevalent and still looks okay. And then a black 2x2 radar dish. For the bottom of the head, start with a black 1x2 plate, an Erling brick, some 1x1 plates on each side of that. They won't show too much, so I use dark gray again just to add a little color variation. 1x2 brick with studs on both sides, and then some black cheese slopes to make the smile, which is not really noticeable when everything else is already black, but still put it on there. For one side of the face, start with a 1x1 black plate and a 1x2 black plate. On top of that, we'll do a corner plate going that way and a 1x1 round going that way. Then we will do a 1x2 plate going down this way, and some tiles, lime plate over here, another tile, a black plate over here. Connect to the top part of the head with that going onto that circle clip pretty nicely. And it'll also connect to the bottom part of the head with that gray piece connected into that black piece. So that's nice. Now we just need to build this side of the head. Finally, take a 1x2 plate, a corner plate, 1x1 round, all of those are in black. Then do a lime tile, a black 1x2, lime 1x1 round, black 1x1, and lime tile. And now that can connect to the other side of the face. Now you've got green stuff kind of dripping down the side and top of the Phantom Puppet's head. Finally, now you can attach the head to the body, connecting that front part of the 1x2 onto the stud on the neck, being careful not to destroy the legs in the process, as I just did. So there you have it, the puppet and the Phantom Puppet at 3 different sizes. Hope you enjoyed this how to build video and found it helpful in building your own Five Nights at Freddy's characters. And happy Halloween! Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and leave comments telling me what you want to see me build in the future. If you like this video, don't miss all my other Five Nights at Freddy's how to build videos. The torso that kept driving me crazy throughout working on the puppet was the sad clown torso, because I kept being like, oh wait, I do have a torso that's exactly what I want. I kept pulling up the sad clown and remembering as black buttons on a white background instead of white buttons on a black background. Why couldn't you be reversed, sad clown? Now I'm the sad clown, because the torso didn't work. Sad clown. If you do end up having one of your circle plates get stuck on a bar and you want to remove it, I invented this little system here for removing it. So you take one of these Technic plates with the holes in it and just put it on some bricks so it's got some room below it for something to go through. You might want to actually make this a little taller than I did. Then you just use some nice big smooth Lego piece. I'm using this tile with a couple studs on it. And then you can push down the bar and put a lot of more pressure on than you can just trying to grab these little things and pull them apart. So if you do find you get something stuck, this is a good way. When you get down to the last little bit here, and you can't push any more through with the flat part, use a 1x2 rhino plate, and then you can stick that in where the thing needs to go and push it out nice and easily. So that is a new Lego disconnecting technique that I invented because I got one of these plates stuck on this bar.